Good evening, I'm Mrs. Frost
And I'm Mrs. Daniels.
and welcome to the Year 11 Information Evening. Regrettably, we can't be together in person for this evening. Nevertheless, we hope you'll find it informative and something that you can refer back to. This presentation will be placed on the school website after this viewing. The aims of this evening are to inform you about key contacts that you might need during the course of this very important year, securing and supporting the success that we want your daughter to achieve, an overview of some of the grading systems and PSHE that we've got going on this year, just to reiterate our expectations regarding your daughter and their life at CCHSG. We have some careers information, some sixth form information, and some key contacts that you can communicate with should you need to. The form tutors this year are Madam Elite with 11C, Mrs. Croxon with 11O, Mrs. King with 11L, Mrs. Burnett with 11H, and Miss Davison with 11E. The year leader for year at 10 and 11 is Mrs. Daniels, and she is also Special Educational Needs Coordinator. Mrs. Joslin is your Pastoral Assistant. I am your Vice Principal, Mrs. Frost, and Mrs. Jackson is Associate to the Principal and CEO. Tonight we're going to think about how we can help you and your daughter secure and support the success that they so richly deserve. And part and parcel of that is us enabling your daughter to enjoy and achieve her final GCSE year. The homeschool partnership is always an important part of a student's life, but this year more than ever, it is absolutely crucial that we all work together to secure that success. Before we start to talk about the support that we can offer your daughter during Year 11, I'd just like to let you know about some of the things that we are doing in school to ensure that your daughter is safe and secure. We have some lovely outside areas that they can shelter in should the weather be inclement or even sunny. We have a one-way system to ensure that we are making sure that our students are as safe as possible and socially distanced. And there you can see one of our students dutifully sanitising their hands. Our one-way system is very clear. We have lovely, spacious, clean classrooms, and even the toilets are socially distanced. Social distancing within CCHSG is very clear. We like our students to keep 2 metres distance wherever possible, and if not, the 1 metre maintain boundaries. We have signs, posters and guides all over the school to encourage students to maintain those social distancing that is needed. We have clear seating plans which act as our track and trace system. Our one-way system is very clear. We use masks in communal areas and where possible, not mixing the bubbles. We have a separate lunch area so people can have those hot meals should they wish to. Our outside seating areas are covered and extremely comfortable should they wish to sit out in all weathers. And we have emergency evacuation points that are clearly signposted and all students are aware of them. Hygiene is very important. Please make sure that you wash your hands regularly with soap and water for 20 seconds. If you can't have soap and water, please hand sanitize. We like to start our lesson with a hand sanitize and finish our lesson with a hand sanitize. Please avoid touching your face. Please have a packet of tissues handy in your pocket, but never fear, there are always tissues available in every classroom. Water is very important. Make sure you have a refillable bottle that you can fill up throughout the day. Keep that brain hydrated. And make sure your face covering is accessible and in your pocket. Just to reiterate, clean hands, avoid touching your face, remove your mask from behind using the side straps. Please dispose of masks carefully if they are disposable, but if they're not, wash regularly at 60 degrees using detergent. We all have a responsibility with COVID-19. If you think somebody in your family has symptoms, please can you not come into school? Alert staff if you are in school if you feel unwell. Please do not share equipment. Please bring your planner and your own equipment in every day, and make sure that your mobile phone is on silent so that if someone does need to contact you with regard to track and trace, they are able to.
So how can students support themselves? Firstly, know what you need to know. For each of your subjects, you will have been issued with a specification. If you can't find that, they're very easy to find online if you visit the exam board websites. They will highlight the content that you are going to be examined on in each of your subject areas, and they're a really great way of identifying your strengths and your weaknesses. We tend to like to revise the things that we're good at and that we know, but use those specifications to identify the gaps in your learning and help you to focus on the things that you need to revise moving forwards. Make effective use of your time in lessons and with homework. Arrive to your lessons promptly. We have that extended movement time at the moment to give you time to follow the one-way system and lessons on time. Make sure you've got all the equipment so that you are ready to learn straight away. With homework, make sure you're using your planner effectively. Make sure you're allocating time. And again, remove all distractions so it can be a focused 40 to 45 minutes on the pieces of homework that you are being set. Most importantly, if there is a key concept you don't understand, if you are struggling, ask that teacher for help. Every member of staff is more than happy to support, to meet with you for one-to-ones if needed at lunchtime or at break. So please, if you are struggling, reach out to your teachers. There are also things that students can do to support themselves, and now more than ever, it's really important to be looking after your well-being. So firstly, you need to make sure that you're getting the right amount of sleep. And for this age group, it's recommended 8 hours of sleep an evening. If you are struggling to sleep, try and get into a healthy sleep routine. Have a warm bath before bedtime. Have a warm drink, non-caffeine related. Maybe read a book. You could try a lavender spray, but get yourself into a regular sleep pattern and routine. It's important that we look after our diets. Try and avoid lots of sugary foods that are going to give you that instant high but then bring you back down. You want foods that give slow release energy, so all your carbohydrates. And again, as Mrs. Frost said, keep hydrated. Regular drinks throughout the day keeps that focus in lessons. I know I'm a PE teacher, but I'm a huge advocate for exercise as it impacts both your physical, mental and your social well-being. It allows you to do something with friends, relieve stress, whilst also doing something that's going to improve your health. Following the closure of schools back in March, we are very aware that some students may have struggled in the lockdown period to keep on top of work. Please do not worry if you have experienced these difficulties. We have got systems in place to help reconnect you with your learning, and if you are struggling in a specific subject, please either talk to the head of department or teacher in that subject area, or you could speak to your form tutor. There are also lots of tips to help students with their revision in the lead up to the mock examinations and their summer examinations. And the very first thing is to have a plan. Know what subjects you have coming up when, know where your gaps in learning are or your weaknesses in subjects, and start to make a plan of how you intend to structure your revision. Don't spend too long on the plan. It can be very easy to get stuck into writing the plan and never actually starting. So that brings me to the next point. Make a start. Okay, and the sooner that we start and the more regularly that we do it, the easier it's going to become. I would strongly advise using exam past paper questions as part of your revision. Again, if you do a 20-minute slot, try and finish that with a question, and it will highlight what's stuck with you and maybe where you still need to focus that revision. Use your class notes, but condense those for revision. The one thing I would recommend is straight after the lesson, if you've got time on the bus or your car journey home, maybe reread your notes for that day so it's starting to consolidate so that when you do come back to revise, you're already halfway there. Test yourself regularly. Please do not spend hours and hours and hours revising day after day without actually testing what's gone in. Again, that testing is a really good way of identifying weaknesses. We all like to revise the things we already know, but if we're going to move our learning forward, we really need to focus on those areas of weaknesses that we've identified. And finally, put your phone away, have it on silent, but really, best practice, have it in another room altogether. There are also lots of things that parents can be doing to support their children during this time. I think the first one is understanding. Exams, the end of GCSEs, it can be quite a stressful time for students. They are going to have their emotional ups and their downs, and it's sort of riding those out and being understanding if suddenly there are some mood swings in the house. Recognise and encourage effort. We want to kind of encourage those positive behaviours so that we're seeing those happen more often. Monitor what your child is doing, whether that's looking at the planner to check that homework's being set, when assessments are coming up, and actually that they are putting that allocated time into their homework. Create an environment for learning. We try and encourage people to move away from their bedrooms for learning. That should be for downtime, for resting. So if you could create a quiet place in the house, preferably at a table, that would really help promote those good learning routines. Communication, and that's mainly communicating with the school. If you think there are any issues, if your child is struggling, you have the form tutor as your first response, but also you could communicate directly with the teacher of specific subjects as well. It's so important to encourage a work-life balance. We do get to these latter years in exams and students focus a lot on their revision, and yes, it is important, but having that breakaway, carrying on with their hobbies and having that work-life balance is really important to maintain good well-being. You could help with the plan. Again, revision planning can be quite a challenge, so taking some time to sit down and do that planning together can be really helpful. Make sure that all the revision resources that are necessary are in place. We've had lots of revision guides on sale at school, but also we know students love a flashcard. Anything that you can do to help organise and support with revision resources would be hugely appreciated. And finally, just the importance of that wider reading, especially as they move into A-level and onto further education. That wider reading around their subject areas is really going to allow them to access those higher level marks in exams and show that subject mastery.
Mrs. Daniels mentioned earlier the use of phones. Phones are a marvellous invention. However, they can also be an incredible waste of time. They can distract, they can detract from what they need to do. So students need to be mindful that sometimes they can't regulate themselves what's happening on their phone, and an adult sometimes needs to step in. The Child Protection Company has a shocking statistic that 1 in 5 teens regularly wake up to check social media during the night. You might not believe that, but we often see it on the pastoral team. We see people with messages coming in at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They're sending them to their friends. They're checking in. This cannot be. Students need their rest, ideally between 8 to 10 hours sleep. So how can we avoid these regular nightly check-ins? As parents, you have power. There are many things that you can do to limit social media at night and the disturbance it can sometimes have with students' sleep. Adjust the light settings on phones to help the amount of blue light shining through the screen. Most devices now come with night shift mode. Utilise that. Try about changing the routine at bedtime. How about a new hobby such as reading or taking a bath or just preparing yourself for the next day? Don't be tempted to think, I've done everything on my tick list, I can now go on my phone. How about putting your phone in a location where it cannot be seen or heard? How about putting it in a box that goes into your parents' bedroom? Try to break the habit of unprompted device checking. Sometimes people do it as a matter of course. It's almost like a really terrible habit that you have to break. How about a digital detox? How about just turning it off altogether, or at least for certain times of the day? And please, parents, make sure that the phone is silenced before bed. The do not disturb sign needs to be on and students need to rest their brains. The University of Cambridge have undertaken a study, and their study has revealed that on average 14-year-olds say that they spend at least 4 hours of their leisure time each day either watching TV or in front of a computer or mobile phone. The research found that an additional hour of screen time each day, i.e. 5 hours, was associated with 9.3 fewer GCSE points in Year 11, which is the equivalent of dropping a grade in 2 subjects. 6 hours of screen time was associated with 18 fewer points, or dropping a grade in 4 subjects. However, it is not all bad news. Pupils who put in an extra hour of homework or spent their time reading did better in their GCSEs, scoring 23 more points than the average student. This is where I become instantly unpopular. Parents, you have the power to cap screen time. In an Apple device, for example, you simply just need to go into settings, scroll to screen time, press app limits, and you can cut their social networking time down dramatically, maybe to just 30 minutes a day or even 10 minutes a day, depending on how motivated they are being. Underneath the app's limits, it should say use screen time passcode. You can put that passcode in. No one need know that passcode but you, and then you hold the ultimate power. At CCHSG, we have very clear expectations with regard to e-safety, courtesy, and overall kindness. There is an expectation that everyone is treated with respect. We are all a community together and we need to be courteous, kind and considerate to others. At CCHSG, bullying is very rare, but we do not accept in any form bullying. This includes e-safety messages. So nasty things said on social media, we do not accept that. It is constantly promoted through PC and assemblies the right thing to do with regard to the internet and social media. If you or your child come across something on the internet that you find unpleasant or really should not be there, we wholeheartedly recommend you contacting external agencies like CEOP or indeed the local police. Out of school, parents, you are responsible for your daughter's behaviour and safety. That includes online.
There's lots of support available in school for students. Firstly, this year they're benefiting from some study support time on their timetables. They've got an hour a week in place of where their RE lessons used to be. And that can be used for personal study, but there may be occasions where certain subjects will set certain tasks for that time. The homework timetable that's issued at the start of the year, again, please make sure that you're monitoring this, both student and parent. Homework should only be set when it is timetabled. There may be occasions where an assessment may be set out of the timetabled allocation, but this should be on a rare occasion. Subject staff are available to discuss subject-related issues. If there is any support that is needed for emotional health and well-being, we have a brilliant pastoral team. We have mentors that are put in place to support students that may be struggling either on an academic or a personal level. We have e-safety support, and then there's lots of revision support that goes on during Easter and half term, as well as one-to-one discussions with their tutors. There is also a lot of support available in school for student well-being. So we have our pastoral team, so we have Mrs. Jocelyn, who's the pastoral assistant, myself as head of year, and Mrs. Frost, who is responsible for all of Key Stage 4. We are available to talk at break times and at lunch times around any issues that are causing concern for students. There's also an opportunity to have a drop-in session with the school nurse or a counselling session with the school counsellor. And we also have a fantastic team of wellbeing ambassadors who come in and deliver assemblies, but also offer drop-in sessions for students. When needed, we do also make referrals to external agencies, including the Emotional Health and Wellbeing Services, COOF and MIND. We're also very fortunate to have a timetabled PSHE programme, so that's every Monday period 3. All students get an hour with their form tutor, and really the aim behind the PSHE programme is to equip students with the skills to make positive and healthy choices, and also to help them around decision making or positive decision making. And here are just some of the topics that we will be covering this year. So we have careers, finance and budgeting. We'll have some things around mental health and well-being, healthy choices, around food, around alcohol and substance misuse, and also our SRE programme. There are key points in the school year where we will be reporting on progress, and the first of those is coming up on the 19th of October, Progress Check 1, and here you'll receive a working at grade on the scale of 1 to 9 for each of the subject areas, and also an attitude to learning. And it should come as no surprise that high attitude to learning links into high achievement. We also have parent consultation evening on the 21st of October, which is a really great time ahead of the mocks to be discussing maybe areas of weakness that need to be targeted ahead of those mock examinations. We've got the Year 11 mocks in November. These have been brought forward this year from December. This was a decision that was made at the start of the academic year 2019 to 2020. And the reason behind that shift in dates is purely around well-being. From my observations and from talking to students historically, they've really struggled with sitting exams in the final 2 weeks of the longest term of the year. They're on their knees by then, and also a number of them have said that they haven't used that October half term productively because the exams still felt too far off. So we made the decision to move those mock examination results to give the October half term for revision. When the girls return after the half term, there will be 2 weeks of no homework to again allow for further preparation for those mock examinations. Results for the exams will be coming out to parents on the 11th of January, and this will be followed up by subject reports on the 8th of February. The next 2 slides just focus around our expectations for attendance. I'm not going to spend too long talking about this. We talk about this quite regularly, and everybody is aware of the impact of good attendance on academic performance. The more a student is in school, the more contact time they have with their teachers, the more learning is going to take place, and therefore the better the outcomes are going to be. We do have a target of 97% attendance, but even from here you can see that that is 30 hours of lost learning, which equates to 6 days of education. So please, if it's a struggle in the morning, encourage your young person to get up, get out of bed. Sometimes the thought of being here is worse than the reality, and they just need to get in, and we can take care of them from there. Just as attendance is important, so is punctuality. There's an expectation that students are in their form by 8:45 in the morning, although we do currently have our staggered entry into school. We are understanding that sometimes buses are running late, there's an accident on the A12, and we will obviously, with an explanation, show some leniency, but we do have measures in place to deal with persistent lateness. So 2 lates in a week would result in a 15-minute detention with the form tutor or pastoral team. 3 in a half term, again, is a 15-minute detention. 3 in a week, that time is extended to 30 minutes.
We also have very clear expectations with regard to uniform and the extras that can sometimes be brought into school. So just to be clear, jewellery-wise, we would like 1 pair of plain studs in the lower lobe. Please do not have sparkly studs, do not have hoops, do not have them at the top part of the ear, just in the lower lobe. Eye watches are not permitted in school, they are not allowed in examination halls, so therefore we would like our young people to get used to using a normal analogue watch. No other jewellery is allowed, so that's no necklaces, no bracelets, and unfortunately no religious artefacts either. When it comes to makeup, we do not really advocate makeup, and that includes eyebrows. We do not want Angry Bird eyebrows in school. Please no to the false eyelashes, the false nails, the nail varnish, and the extreme hairstyles or colours, which include balayage. And please do not use henna on your hands to create patterns or to create colours on your nails, as henna takes a very, very long time to come off. Here is just some illustrations of what I mean by studs that are glitzy and glam. Please, just plain studs. Balayage, as you can see, is the two-tone hair. Sometimes it can be brought into school in unnatural colours. No balayage. And you can see the model is deftly showing off her shave bits underneath. That would be deemed as an extreme hairstyle. So no shaved hair either. The other contentious issue in school is ankle socks. As you can see, what is deemed an ankle sock in school is a sock that covers the ankle. You can see that trainer socks are crossed out. No trainer socks, please, only ankle socks. So just to reiterate our expectations for students in Year 11, all students should be respectful, polite, kind and considerate. They already are, but it doesn't harm in reminding people. And just to say that there is absolute zero tolerance on bullying, both in school and online.
Students will receive support when looking at future careers. We're very lucky to have our own independent careers advisor, Mrs. Key, who runs sessions through the PSHE programme, but is also available to deliver one-to-one meetings with students to discuss university options and to discuss future careers. If students wish to have that appointment, they need to sign up on the sheet on Mrs. Jocelyn's office door. We also support with different examinations, including the BMAT, and we have a wide variety of books available to students in our careers library. We also have our sixth form open evening in November, and this is going to be a virtual event, which we're really excited about. So make sure, please, that you make a note of that date and you are available. It's a great opportunity to explore all the different A-level subjects on offer at the school, to ask questions of staff, but also of existing pupils who are living those experiences at the moment. It's also a great opportunity not just to visit the subjects you're interested in, but some of those borderline subjects that you're not sure, have a look, and then you're able to rule them out one way or another. We will also have coming along a taster day, and deadlines for applications and confirmation of sixth form places will follow. We are also very fortunate to have a fantastic sixth form here at CCHSG. This is obviously going to be a time where you are exploring your sixth form options, so just a few reasons why you should stay. I think one of the biggest is this is a known environment to our students. A-levels is a very short period of time. It's less than 2 years before that transition to university, and students are known to staff and vice versa. Staff are known to students, and that support is already in place, so that personalised learning is there already for students. There'll also be support with UCAS applications, and there's a wide variety of extracurricular activities for students to get involved with, including the EPQ, DofE, Young Enterprise and the European Youth Parliament. School will be in regular communication with parents through various means, including Twitter and Facebook. And I know we've been a little bit anti-social media tonight, but on this occasion we will allow it. So please make sure you are following us. But also we do have the weekly bulletin with important dates and events, and obviously the school canteen and the school e-newsletter. There are also different methods for parents to communicate with school. So firstly, the form tutor, and we do refer to the form tutor as the first responder. And you should contact the form tutor regarding personal welfare, any attendance related issue, if there has been a change in circumstances at home, and to report any illness. You need to be in contact with heads of subject for any issues relating to work. So please avoid sending that to the form tutor. If you could contact heads of subject directly for matters relating to work. But also, if it is over a number of subjects, please contact the pastoral team. And anything related to exams, it will be Mrs. Mandel, the exams officer. Again, if you have any issues relating to exams or personal circumstances that you feel may affect your daughter's examination performance, please ensure that you have informed Mrs. Mandel, our exams officer, straight away. And her number is just up on the screen here, but this will also be in the information booklet, along with procedures for how to manage if your daughter feels unwell on the day of examinations.
DofE this year will continue to be with a difference. Our priority is to complete the Bronze Award from Year 10. At the moment, students should be working on finishing their volunteering, skills and physical sections. The DofE will award a Certificate of Achievement for completing all three, and well done to those 20 students who have already gained this. Activities can be changed and adapted to the current situation. The Bronze Qualifying Expedition will not be held until next spring or summer. We are likely to stay local and use the school field to camp, or students will simply go home overnight. We will publish dates and final payment details when GCSE examination dates are finalised so that there is no conflict. Regarding the DofE Silver Award, enrolment details will be available shortly. We anticipate an initial enrolment of students in the three sections as already outlined: volunteering, skills and physical. However, there is no guarantee that we will be able to run silver expeditions over next summer, as we have existing silver groups to complete also. Groups could purchase this element from an external provider and still use our school equipment. If we are able to run the expeditions, then bronze qualifying could also become silver practice expedition with an extra day and night. This will follow the qualifying expedition. It will depend on numbers wishing to do the award, staffing availability and timing of GCSE examinations. Students will still be able to do the Gold Award in Year 12, even if they have not done the Silver Award in Year 11. Any queries regarding DofE should be addressed to Mr. Embleton, DofE Coordinator at CCHSG. We now sadly come to the end of our information evening. On behalf of Mrs. Daniels and myself, I'd just like to say thank you for taking the time to listen to us. I know it's been a very unusual information evening. We would have liked to have seen you in the flesh. But if you would like to ask us any questions or have any queries, please email us and we'll be more than happy to help you. I would like to say safe journey home, but I imagine you're already there. Take care and we will see you soon.